We want all the smoke, man.
Johnnie, you cannot do that. Go back, Gabe.
Man, that's tough.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
Head coach of the men's varsity basketball team at Bertie High School, head coach Johnnie Rascoe. The schedule was pretty much the same as the year before. We do play basically a lot of local teams in the area, even though a lot of teams are not necessarily 1A, 2A, 3A, etc. But last year, I guess you could say we just kind of came out of nowhere. We started off 3-0 after beating Jades Rose twice and Jades Holmes one time. And I kind of looked up, and on Max Preps they had us ranked as the #1 team in 1A East. And then from there we pretty much kept that ranking for the whole season, with the exception of maybe 2 weeks out of the season. But what was most important for me was that we had that #1 seed or #1 ranking at the end of the season. But it was a wild ride last year. I don't think anybody thought that we would be as good as we were. I give a lot of credit to the kids, because the kids really worked. They worked really hard. They didn't complain when I was pushing them in practice. I'm very demanding. If you if you ever come to a practice, I tend to do my yelling at practice. A lot of people wonder, kind of how I am as a coach, because you don't see me yelling and screaming on the sideline during a game, but I kind of take care of that kind of stuff in practice. So, with the group we had last year, led by Zali Bazemore, who was a senior last year for us, and he's of course moved on now to Pitt Community College. We just, like I said, pretty much came out of nowhere. At least that's probably how the rest of the state saw it. It was a real special group. And, to my delight, we have everybody else coming back this year except for Zali. So, the whole team is back. We do have a few additions that we pulled up from the JV team from last year. But, the crew is here, and so we ready to go again. Most people tend to think that the strength of the team is probably our guard play. Jakelvin Rascoe, he's a senior this year. He's a dog. He's just a dog. He does it on the offense and the defensive end. In the last 2 years, his sophomore season and his junior season, he was ranked in the top 30 nationwide as far as steals are concerned. He's that kind of go-getter type of player with a lot of heart. He might be the smallest guy on the court for us sometimes, but nobody has a heart bigger than him. We have a few other seniors, and we're kind of senior heavy this year. Another senior that we have is Tequan Holly. He's a 6'6" senior. He plays the 4 position and the 3 position for us. He plays the wing as well. Tequan is just the overall good guy. Very smart, very heady as far as what he does on the court. Very efficient. He doesn't miss many shots, and he can score on all 3 levels. So he's a very dangerous player. But you mix that along with the rest of the guards on the team, and then our post play, and we're looking at once again another special group. We have 2 guys down low that kind of take care of the dirty work for us, Josiah Lee and Kyle Pillman Holly. Both of those guys are seniors as well. And normally it's always one of them in the game at all times. This year we might even experiment and look at actually putting both of them on the court at the same time. But those guys, like I said, do the dirty work. They draw the charges. They get the rebounds. They start the break. They do all the things. They defend all the biggest guys that the other team has. So they do all the dirty work and all the things that kind of go a little bit unseen in a game, but is important nonetheless. We also have a few other seniors. Trayvon Halloran is a senior wing player. Kind of like Mr. Electric, he just kind of comes in. Last year he played the six-man for us, and there was a couple games that he had close to 30 points. He actually had 30 in one game coming off the bench and 28, I believe, in another. And so he's kind of like instant offense. Exciting type of player. He's a floor runner. He likes to run the floor, and no matter how big you are, if he sees you under the basket, he'll try you. The other players that we have as well is Zamir Dempsey. He's a junior this year. Plays the point guard and plays the wing. He's just a ultra athletic player. Can do it all. Can actually score on all three levels as well. A lot of the guys that I have mentioned already are basically scorers on all three levels, and I think that's kind of what makes the team dangerous, just because we have so many guys that can shoot and score from anywhere on the court. I'm looking to see Zamir have a breakout season this year. I really think he's poised to do that. Zamir is ultra confident. When he steps on the court, he thinks he's the best player out there. I love that about him. The kid doesn't back down, and every game he takes on the challenge of defending the best player on the other team. Tavian Ward is another junior that we have. I expect him to do a lot more for us this year than last year. He's going to be a part of the major rotation this year coming up, and he's a wing player, but he does play the point from time to time. He plays the 2 and the 3 spot. We have put him at the 4 every now and then. So he's one of those kind of Swift Army knife kind of guys that can do a little bit of everything, whether it's passing, shooting, rebounding, kind of directing the team, getting the ball up the floor. He really does do a lot of different things for us. We have another senior, DJ Sproul, who is primarily playing the 2 position, but he will come up to the top and play point from time to time. DJ is just the ultimate teammate. Never complains about playing time, never complains about anything. He's one of those kids that will just run through a wall for you. And, every team needs those kind of guys, guys that really are all about the team. And DJ is just team personified. I truly believe this year is going to be the toughest schedule that Bertie High School basketball has ever played. I know we used to be in some really tough conferences in the past, when we were in conferences with like the Wilson teams, the Hunt, Fikes, Bedingfields, that conference, and of course we used to be in a conference with Northeastern and Hertford County, but when we moved down to 1A 2 years ago, and so now just looking at the schedule, the reason I say it's probably the toughest one is because we fighting outside our weight class a lot. Our first 3 games, or our first game, of course, against J.H. Rose, and I believe they're a 3A school, if I'm not mistaken. Then we have a 2A school against J.H. Holmes, and then we play against Wayne Country Day in our first showcase game. It's a nonprofit showcase over at Green Central High School on December the 2nd. And, Wayne Country Day is just one of the top private schools in the state. So, that's going to be a tough challenge. They have a really good team over there, and so I think it's going to be pretty much a game about, pace, as far as who's going to kind of dictate the pace to win that one. After that, though, we play Hertford County twice, so they're a 2A school. We also play in the 919-252 showcase. And we have Gardner High School and their 4A school, I believe. So, that's going to be a pretty tough game, a pretty tough team. Traditionally, they've been a pretty tough team in the past 5-6 years. We also participate this year in the MLK showcase up in Southeast Raleigh High School. So we'll be traveling to Raleigh on January the 13th and playing against Hillside High School. So I think, and Hillside, I believe, is another 4A school. As we go along throughout the season, it doesn't get easier. It just kind of gets tougher, especially in the non-conference. We also play in the border clash this year at Elizabeth City State University on January the 15th. And that's going to be real special to me. I graduated from Elizabeth City State. And so just to go back and bring my team, my hometown team from Bertie back to my hometown college, that's going to be a real special moment for me. I just hope we play very well. We'll be playing Franklin out of Virginia that night, and they were a real strong team last year, so I pretty much expect them to be a strong team again this year. I don't know what their classification is. I think it's a little different in Virginia than it is in North Carolina. So, but like I said, they're a real tough team, and we still have other tough teams on the schedule. Of course, we play in the Hereford County Christmas Tournament. First game we probably play against will probably be Northeastern. Northeastern is going to be tough this year. They got the two big guys down on the block, and they got a lot of guards. So they are, I wouldn't say carbon copies of us, but their team kind of matches up with us, and we've been having some very good games when we play against them. And if we are fortunate enough to beat them, the next game would probably be Hereford County in the Christmas Tournament Championship. And Hereford County, it's a rivalry game, so a possible 3 games with them, is kind of big news. You can kind of throw the records out the window when we meet because it's such a rivalry game that both teams are going to be up to play. We also have Wilson Hunt coming to us. I believe it's December the 15th. So once again, we fighting outside our weight class. But all of this is in preparation for the state tournament, playoffs at the end of the season. Senior Tequan Holly.
Breakout season for him. Oh, yeah. He in the gym 24/7.
See, me, I grew up playing with him my whole life, like outside, backyard. Ain't ready for that Tequan. I'm telling you. That pull-up jump is on serious. That pull-up, hey, I'm telling you.
That's my Tequan. He won't have a breakout game to the Christmas tournament. Every year, every time they Christmas tournament, he'll drop 20 to get you something, bro.
He been there work while we was
every time he drop 20. He drop 20.
While we playing football, he put in work though.
This year, he averaged a 20 point, 10 rebounds a game.
Doing 5 blocks.
And he bitched 200.
During football, like we'll start football like 4 o'clock. I see him in practice, and soon we leave football probably around 6:30. And still being there.
Senior Jakelvin Rascoe.
I see my boy getting player of the year this year though. Can't lie.
Yeah, they ain't no better defender than him.
Senior Kyle Pillman Holly.
Defense. He get down dirty. He get down dirty. He scored 1-5.
He averaged a good 8.
No flicks.
He can go 1-5.
Senior Josiah Lee.
Charges.
10 charges a game. 8
He might not give you points, but he will give you defense.
He got a dirty jersey on the floor.
He might give you 1-3.
He's always on the floor.
Out of the whole season. He might give you 1-3 out of the whole season. But he will give you charges. He averaged 1 target points.
Yeah, he can shoot out the jump too.
Senior DJ Sproul.
Oh, that's my boy.
I ain't gonna lie, he get that game, man. Hit you with that move with the old.
Oh yeah.
He
Look, see fast.
He a good another defender too.
He
though.
very,
underrated though.
I'm telling you, he very
He's
underrated.
underrated, man.
This year he got pop outs.
He haven't had his time to shine, like for real.
We got too many point guards.
Junior, Zamir Dempsey.
You already know.
Zamir gonna be Zamir.
That shooter right now.
Yeah,
Zamir, you already know he giving y'all thing. He giving everybody players. He getting 30 a game.
it would be hard to go to them.
In a conference.
And
You can't change his pace.
Zamir can win
They
it.
got hops.
One of the smoothest
He an
players.
all-around player for real.
He very smooth.
Junior, Tavian Ward.
hey, that's a dog right here, bro. It's a dog right here. He ain't had no breakout season yet. Is it junior season? Yeah, junior season breakout. I swear to God, my
He
mama.
very sneaky.
Junior, Jonathan Deaver.
Big body bean.
Brick wall.
Yeah.
Nobody running through him.
Hey,
Tell him you want that.
You know that.
He hustles for it though. He really do get hustling though.
hey,
They think
rebound.
because he big, he can't do nothing. Yeah.
He can rebound and he can shoot.
Senior, Trayvon Holleran. Another senior that we have this year is Jeremiah Benthal. Came to us by way of transfer. But Jeremiah, he puts me in the mind of Jakelvin Rascoe a little bit, you know, just kind of a smaller guard, but is just quick as lightning, especially defensively, can just harass players all over the court, and when he's really locked in, he can be a special talent on the court. He's primarily a point guard. He can distribute the ball very well. He does have a mid-range sort of game to him. He likes to hit runners in the lane, things of that sort. So he will attack. So, you know, when he's coming downhill at you, you think it's almost like he thinks he's 6'4", 6'5", but he's a little bit smaller than that. But that's how he plays. Kind of plays with a chip on his shoulder. Junior, Jonathan Deaver. He has the physical strength on the court to kind of move people around. Sometimes we have to kind of make sure that he kind of stays within himself on the court, because just like we had a scrimmage game last Friday, he drove to the basket, kind of knocked the kid, dislodged the kid a little bit, got an offensive foul, but it's just because it's almost like he's stronger than he thinks he is. A very good outside shooter. Trying to get him to kind of work it a little bit more on the inside, just a little bit. He can defend. He runs the floor, but he does stretch the court for us as like a stretch four type position. And sometimes he plays the wing at the 3 spot. So we're looking for big things out of Jonathan this year as well. It's just a matter of him buckling down and actually putting that time in and getting the work done. Well, for one, I'd like to say that I really appreciate the fan interaction that we have had all of last year, and I look forward to what the fans are going to be like this year. I think that our fans traveled really well last year, and I hope this year that they travel well with us again, because we're going to need it. We're going to need it. Like I said before earlier, we kind of fighting outside our weight class a little bit when it comes to the non-conference. And the showcase games that we had, I don't think Bertie has ever had this many showcase games on the schedule. And so we're going to play some real tough opponents. And I know those other teams are going to have, fans there for them. So I hope we actually have fans there for us. And I just want to say that, this has been a really, really special group. These kids have been really special. I've been around them for so long and for so much time in the past 3 years. They feel like my kids. I kind of joke with them all the time when I tell them stuff like, I'm gonna put you on my taxes this year, because it's almost like, we spend so much time together that, like I said, they really seem like my kids. Now, of course, I know they're not my kids, but that's how I treat them. I got love for these kids, and hopefully they have love for me too, and love for Bertie basketball, and that's the biggest thing. And if we can, do our part as coaches to get them to the next level, then I'm all for it, and that's what I'm trying to do. Bertie basketball is I think if you have to play us, if somebody was to give you a scouting report, they'd probably say something like, they're going to defend and they're going to run. We're going to defend, rebound, and run, and it's kind of in that order. We do play kind of fast-paced on the offensive end. We do want to kind of keep teams on their heels defensively, so we kind of switch defenses from time to time, and we try to make sure that we're always in your face, and we're trying to challenge you, all 94 feet of the court. So it's kind of like a game of tug of war. Your team keeps pulling, my team keeps pulling, and we're just gonna see who has it at the end. So that's really what Bertie basketball is. I'll be honest with you, last year, even though we went on the run that we did, we really didn't have the major news channels down here in the gym until we hit the state playoffs. I think it was I can't remember exactly which channel it was, but they featured Zali one time, so they came down here and did that. But we don't get very much publicity down here, which is a shout out to Street Dot Nation, because he's always here and he's actually doing his thing, and if we didn't have him and a few other media outlets, then I think you wouldn't know too much about Bertie basketball right now. So I hope that changes. I hope the major media networks will actually come out and enjoy some basketball here and enjoy the atmosphere, because the atmosphere is crazy. At a home game here at Bertie High School, it's just it's really kind of difficult to explain. I haven't seen the wave in a long time, and I saw it a couple times last year. The atmosphere at a home game is just really, second to none. And once again, I have to thank the Bertie alumni, the Bertie faithful, and the Bertie fans for that. We love you, and we hope that you'll be here with us again this year.
Oh yeah, Coach Rascoe.
That's how I got, man.
My old man right now.
You got that game plan for you every time.
That's Biggie Pop right
For
there.
real.
That's Biggie
What?
Pop.
There's one problem we got into. There's one problem. Wearing no big clothes.
You gotta stop it. You gotta stop it.
Hey, he got the shoe game though.
Hey, shoe game, y'all ain't peeping though. Y'all ain't peeping. And what we were popping on the game 11 and all them 12.
He got shoes, but his clothes be too big.
Yeah,
Man,
that's a problem.
I never seen a man wear a medium. He got 2 X on, bro.